Hello friends, I've got another Schumann Resonance video for you today, and normally I don't do one video every day for 3 days. I wanted to share this information with you because there's something in the chart that is very, very interesting. I'm using the thumbnail to get across the meaning that I see here. And I do this with all the images I put together. This image is a composite of 5 photos, actually 6. And I love doing these. So what do you have here? You have the United States and really the globe, okay, because we're looking at a global effect in the Schumann resonance. But the focus of attention of current events here as we are winding up the U.S. presidential election of 2020. But it's an effect that affects the entire world. You have the Schumann resonance here, which is the medium that we're focusing on of communicating information. And then we've got a special forces soldier. And this special forces soldier has some real super cool technology that they're analyzing. What I wanted to point out was this patterning here. Okay, so you've got line, 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 line. And then in all of the patterns within the spectrogram, you see these interesting complex patterns within them. It's interesting because there's loads of what looks like letters and numbers and even almost hieroglyphics. I was looking for this earlier. There's this, like, for example, there's this CCC here. There's another one up here that looks like, I don't know if this is 1220 or who knows what that is. I call this the technological effect. There was no data on the chart for hours. It was stopped right about here. Once the data was revealed, I think I woke up at I was up all night reading the news. And then I think I went to bed around 3 or 4 and bam, the chart was up and I took images of it just in case it went away again. But it's up now. And I put it out on Twitter. I'll put a link below. But this is a technological effect in my view. Okay, now these are my assertions and my hypothesis. I have a playlist on the technological effect where I've talked about my ideas about how this might work. But it looks to me like it is some kind of actual technology affecting the Schumann. I have said before, I feel this is a human technology, just to be clear about that. It creates an effect in the Schumann that we don't normally see. So here's September 11th of 2020, and you can see that the chart is very normal looking in terms, it doesn't have that kind of technological effect in it. It actually looks very nice and beautiful. Okay, so the technological effect this fall started on September 12th. Again, you see the line, 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 line. Sometimes the chart will have lines like this, but all in the background too, you see them line, 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 line. It's a very specific pattern or matrix that is, I don't know if it's imposed on the chart or woven into the chart. And I believe what it is that the technology of measuring the Schumann, and that then gets interpolated into the chart, is picking up on an effect in the Schumann, which I've called the technological effect. Now, this technological effect continued until November 26th, and this was the last day. And you can see by November 26th, this is what it looked like. Pretty cool, huh? Very, very interesting. So it ended here, my overview of all the detail of how I think it works. That's in the deep dive on my technological effect playlist. What I do want to talk to you about is what I think happened yesterday. So here's the chart from last night and this morning, and you can see that it looks like the technological effect started right about here, right about 3 a.m. But I have to say, I wonder if it had been warming up before that, but definitely by 3 a.m. Now, you don't see it as clearly at the beginning here of those hours, and then you see it start to manifest into the chart, start to take hold. And then by the time we get to the middle of the night here in the United States, it's just cooking. And it's making all these incredible patterns. In my deep dive, I addressed a chart where the tech effect made these kind of patterns as well. It's a little different than this effect here, different but similar. I have a lot to go through and I want to keep the video short, so I'm going to just nail kind of key points here. Now, you have a black line in the chart, and if you want to know more about this black line effect, which, by the way, I called it. in my video called No Data, Black Line, What Does It Mean? Exactly. This is exactly what happened. I mean, I explained this effect, and often in the past, what we saw was that there would be no data and then there would be a tech effect, and that's exactly what happened here. Okay, so it started about 3 a.m. It looks like it ended about 1900 hours on the chart, 7 p.m. Now, this is the time in Tomsk where the chart is created. I want to tell you how to convert to East Coast time. Right now, it's very easy. It's simply day-night reversal. So if you see, 5 p.m. on the chart here, that's 5 a.m. in New York City. Okay, so this is pretty easy to do. What I wanted to point out to you is, and the reason that I noticed this is because I was up reading the news at this time, and I saw it come across within a minute of it being posted that the U.S. Congress certified the electoral votes for the 2020 election right here, okay, right at 3:44 a.m. Eastern Time. 3:30 is probably right there. So see right here where this blue ends, this blue line ends, okay, that line right there, because it's blue line, I mean this blue section, but right here where this line is, that right there is the time of this is about, I'm estimating, but I'm pretty good at estimating these things. I'd say this is where the results were certified. For those of you who are questioning, who are having your faith challenged, this is an Archangel Michael blue, and there he is nailing the blue into the fabric of reality. Right at that time, a pure bar of this bright blue. He's got our backs. Archangel Michael is the embodiment of divine will, the protector of humanity, Saint Michael. And it's interesting, 3 videos ago, and it's linked below, I did a now I'm getting emotional. I did a video about Archangel Michael, and I talked about my personal experiences with him, but I also talked about that I saw his energy come through on the Schumann. And when I recorded that video, and then I kind of nailed it down, I had to edit it way down, and it ended up being 33 minutes and 44 seconds in length when it came out of the processor. I couldn't believe it when I saw the time that the Congress certified the vote. It's a coincidence. I mean, I'm just one little tiny fish in a pond here. But, when you follow your heart, and by that I mean the soul connection within the heart, God speaking to us through our ability to connect with Him in our heart, through the soul connection, the spark of life that we are. But when we follow that in faith, miracles, just amazing things happen. And I was just wowed when I saw that the same numbers, including the double number of 44, that's when Congress certified the electoral vote. And the other thing that I saw here in the chart, look, here it is again, okay? The big blue of Archangel Michael came through again in almost the exact same size. This one is about 6 hours, and the other big bar of blue came through about 7 hours that my video is on. But here it is again in the chart, this clear blue coming through. God is at work in what's going on. And even though we may not understand it with our minds, we may feel confused, we may not understand what the process is that's going on, we may feel emotional. But if you can check in and connect with that still presence within you, the presence of God, that is the presence of God, your ability to pray, to meditate, to hold a 0 point field. That's just what I see in the charts. and here's another nice big block of blue here again. But I could just see here, that you have the tech effect and you have some of the green in front of it, but it's like behind it, there's just this big block of that big brother. I mean, I see Archangel Michael, Saint Michael as a big brother. He's got the back of all of us, and all you have to do is ask to be in relationship with him. Okay, so I thought it was very interesting that there was no data. Now, Sarah, I think, asked me a question on Twitter. Thank you, Sarah, for asking that, because now I'm going to highlight it here. Basically, there's a big black line here. That means there's no data that we have available to us, so we don't know what happened here. And what's interesting, it happened right before the certification of the results. So there's something here that we aren't seeing. So I'm just going to come out and spill it. When I say technological effect, what I feel is that there is a technology at play. It looks like it's global, it's human-based, and it's at work. The words that came to me were eyes on. Now, what is the military definition of eyes on? To watch an enemy from a concealed location. It looks to me like this is a technological observation of events. Now look, this might be hard to understand for us because we haven't really been exposed to really advanced technologies. But for a long time, I have believed that there are very, very advanced technologies run by human beings operating on the planet. And I've written articles on this on my other blog, but suffice it to say that the internet was started in the 60s and didn't get rolled out to all of us until the internet companies didn't start coming public on the stock exchange until about 1999. So that was a 30-year head start. And then, has it been 20 years? Gosh. So it's only been about 20 years. And look at the incredible technological advances that have come into play since then. In the frequency range, which is a component of the resonance, I thought it was interesting that during the tech effect, look what happened. Okay, now we said it started about here, and I said it may have started a little bit further back, and it looks like from somewhere about here, there was a change. See, look at that, a change in the patterns. Look, they were moving together, the frequencies of the resonances, and then suddenly there was a big divergence. The green moved down, and then, let's see here, the red stayed flat and then moved down, and the yellow just started bouncing all over the place. And the yellow would relate with kind of like the part of the astral energies, the fourth dimension, that is closest to the human, and this would be sort of the red is more deeper, denser, non-physical energy in my view. And then the white pops up. Okay, so it kind of expands up to the top of its range. Okay, that's interesting. All right, now here we go. Here's the amplitudes, the strength of the resonances. So here we go. We get a pop in the green. Looks like the tech effect actually looks like maybe it did start, let's see, back. Yeah. Okay, so that's at 19 there. Let's see, 19, yeah. Yeah, that was the red wave. And yeah, see, again, you have a shift in the chart right about there. I think maybe it did start back there. We didn't really see it on the chart, though, until 3 a.m. I'm going to explain how that could have happened, why it could have started back here, but not see it on the chart till over here. I actually have an explanation of that for you. Okay, so basically okay, so you get a pop in green, then you get a rise in yellow, and just as yellow is rising, white pops up. Sometimes I feel like the energies representing the shadow side of humanity or the dark forces respond to like the celestial and the human. I view this as celestial and this is human. And so that's kind of seems what happens here. The green gets strong, so the yellow's already rising. It rises even higher, and then the white comes in to support the green. And then here's the quality or the strength of, the clearness of the resonance. Okay, so here, if you look at here, it starts to, the yellow starts to bounce around. We get a spike. Now, this was interesting. The green is just super, super low, except for that one spike right here. That was just really interesting. And that spiked. It occurred right before the no data line, which occurred right before the vote to approve to accept the electoral votes. And then look what happens. That happens, and then dang, yellow just takes off and hits a high. So if there was ever any indication that yellow was aligned with the shadow aspects of human personality, to me, that's it right there. Okay. Because that was some interesting business that happened. Here's what I want to explain to you, okay? let's step it back for a minute here and go through this. This is pretty cool. I'm just trying to arrange it so I can read my notes and talk through the microphone. All right, now, what is a Schumann resonance? This is a set of hertz, okay, that's in the air. Just like we can pick up TV waves, the TV programs, just like we can pick up radio, just like we can pick up Wi-Fi. These float through the air, and the range at which they are present in the environment is between 0 and, this chart goes up to 40 hertz. The range that goes from 3 to 30 hertz, right here, this is known as extremely low frequencies, or ELF. It's the electromagnetic radiation between 3 and 30 hertz. So this is present from the surface of the Earth up to the upper atmosphere. Coincidentally, okay, this frequency range also matches the frequency range of the human brain and the human brain waves. I've talked about also on the beginner playlist why I believe the images are important, because I believe that this is the set of brainwaves, the set of hertz that we kind of exist in. Our thoughts, our emotions, our daily activities, our lives, our hopes and dreams, our unconscious, our subconscious, our intuitive side, our prayerful or meditative side, just our spiritual experiences with God. This is it right here. Okay, this is the hertz range. So to me, the images on the chart can reflect the human experience, because there's 7 billion of us on the planet. And not only do we have the brain waves that we're obviously constantly emitting, but we are electromagnetic beings. And we don't normally think of it that way, but our hearts emit an electromagnetic field. There's one other aspect of that, and that's what I want to highlight with the technological effect today. And that is the fact that this hertz range has been utilized for military communications. And a lot of research has been done into this. In fact, according to a U.S. Navy fact file report, all Navy submarines are equipped with ELF receivers. What is it about ELF waves that are interesting? Now, I want to get into just a little bit. This is easy stuff on the technology of the ELF waves. Okay, this is layman's terms here. What's interesting is that they penetrate water, and that's why they're used in subcommunications. They can diffract around large objects. Okay, so they're not blocked by mountain ranges. They're not blocked by anything. They're not blocked by the horizon. They circle around the planet. And the currents can penetrate the ground. And the ground can actually amplify, in certain cases, connect as an antenna for the ELF waves. ELF waves can trace completely around the Earth several times before decaying. That, to me, would explain why it looks like, based on how the frequency, amplitude, and quality charts acted, it looks like something happened starting here. Okay, but you don't actually see it visually on the chart till about 3 a.m. You start to see a little bit of these lines here. But then it takes a few hours. They start to get stronger impressions in the chart. By the time you are at 7 a.m. on the chart, you're getting some pretty cool patterns, okay? And then boom. Right before, isn't this fascinating? Right during the deliberations and in Congress and everything that was going on in Washington, D.C. yesterday, okay? Because look, now remember, it's day-night reversal right now with the East Coast with this chart. So 9 a.m. is 9 p.m. East Coast time. It's just so simple right now. So in the middle of the night, this is what was happening. All of this. And I bet it would be pretty fascinating to see whatever the heck happened here. But we just don't have that information, okay? Either it's super secret or we just don't have it for some reason. It's more fun to think that it's super secret because it makes the story more interesting, doesn't it? I'm telling you an interesting story right now because we really don't know. I'm just making observations about the chart. But here's a really interesting thing. The Earth itself is a significant part of the ELF antenna. The Earth itself assists because the waves can go around large objects and because they can penetrate the ground. The Earth itself is involved with the transmission and the promulgation of these waves. And because it takes several times for the waves to go around the planet, like if you turn them off, okay, they'll keep transmitting. Whatever had been it'll keep transmitting for some period of time. It'll circle the Earth several times before the signal decays, where the amplitude is back at zero. What I'm saying is we don't know when the technological effect ended. We can see it's very strong here. It's possible that the technological effect may have ended sometime around here, but you can still see the lines here, okay? Not as strong. So somewhere in here it ended. Maybe it ended here. I don't know. Maybe it ended right here or somewhere just shortly after. Maybe sometime after 3:44 a.m. I don't know. And then what you can see is it starts to fade. Why is that? Because let's just say that if I'm right that this is a technology that was turned on and then turned off, an ELF technology, rather than the natural ELF transmissions of the Earth, this makes sense that it would fade out like this if it was a technology that was turned off, because after the transmission ends, the ELF waves will still completely circle around the Earth several times before decaying to zero. And subsequently, in the chart past 2400 hours here, I did check the chart because there is data going past this now, and sure enough, there's no technological effect. What am I saying here? What I'm saying is that it looks like someone's watching and that those people have eyes on.